Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tutoring Pros channel. In this video we're going to be going over the problem solving section for the SAT math portion. The SAT is broken up into 4 different sections and problem solving is one of them. So here we're going to go over a full review of questions that are placed within the problem solving section. If a 3-pound pizza is sliced in half and each half is sliced into thirds, what is the weight in ounces of each slice? So if we have a 3-pound pizza and we're looking for the weight of each slice in ounces, first we need to see what the weight of the pizza is in ounces. Here it tells us that 1 pound is 16 ounces. So all we have to do is multiply 16 by 3, and this is going to give us 48. So we know that the entire pizza is 48 ounces. And first it says that the pizza is split in half. So we're going to divide this by 2. 48 divided by 2 is going to give us 24 ounces. And then it says that each half is split into thirds. So that means we're going to divide 24 by 3. And this will give us a weight for each slice of 8 ounces, which is answer choice C. For the second one, we have a table that shows types of movies and the ratings that it gets. The table above represents the 50 movies that had the greatest ticket sales in 2012, categorized by movie type and Motion Picture Association of America rating. What proportion of the movies are comedies with a PG rating? So we're going to go to the comedy PG-13 rating, which is going to be right here. And whenever we're looking for the proportion of something, it's what we're looking for divided by the total. So what we're looking for is comedies with a PG-13 rating, which there are 4 of those. And we're going to divide that by the total number of movies, which is 50. If we look at our answer choices, 4 over 50 is not an answer choice. But as you can see, we can simplify the top and bottom because both numbers are divisible by 2. If we divide 4 by 2, we'll get 2. And if we divide 50 by 2, we'll get 25. And so our answer is 2 over 25. For this third one, it says, Nick surveyed a random sample of the freshman class of his high school to determine whether the fall festival should be held in October or November. Of the 90 students surveyed, 25.6% preferred October. Based on this information, about how many students in the entire 225-person class would be expected to prefer having the fall festival in October? So since they received a sample of the entire freshman class, it's safe to assume that the same percentage of 25.6 would apply to the entire class, not just those 90 students. So if we turn 25.6% to a decimal, we'd have 0.256. And when we're trying to find 25.6% of a number, we're going to multiply this decimal by 225. And if we plug this into a calculator, 0.256 times 225, we're going to get 57.6 people. So that would be closest to B, which is 60. Here we have another table that has regions and ages for registered voters in the United States. The table above shows the number of registered voters in 2012 in thousands in 4 geographic regions and 5 age groups. Based on the table, if a registered voter who was 18 to 44 years old in 2012 is chosen at random, which of the following is closest to the probability that the registered voter was from the Midwest region? So first, the first thing to focus on is it says based on the table, if a registered voter who was 18 to 20 to 44 years old. So this section is the section that we have to focus on. So we're going to focus here, 18 to 44. And then it says if someone in this age range is chosen at random, which of the following is the closest to the probability that the registered voter was from the Midwest? So remember, whenever we're trying to find probability or proportions or ratios, we're going to divide what we're looking for divided by the total. So what we're looking for are Midwest, ages 18 to 44. So on the top, we're going to add the 18 to 24 for the Midwest, which is 3,453. And we're going to add that to the Midwest, 25 to 44, which is 11,237. We're going to divide this by the total number of people within these age groups. That's going to be 14,766 plus 47,896. So first we're going to add the top together. 3,453 plus 11,237 is going to give us 14,690. And we're going to divide that by 14,766 plus 47,896. And that's going to give us 62,662. Now if we divide these two numbers, we're going to get our answer. So 14,690 divided by 62,662 will give us approximately 0.23. And if we look at the answer choices, this is going to be closest to answer choice B, which is 0.25. Which of the following scatter plots shows the relationship that is appropriately modeled with the equation y equals a times x to the power of b, where a is positive and b is negative? So the first thing to think about is if we have our equation y equals a times x to the power of b, and b is a negative number, the way that we make that positive, that exponent of b positive, is by bringing the whole term to the bottom. So we're going to rewrite this as a over x to the power of b. Since a is positive, that means that we're going to be above the x-axis. And at this point, since x is in the bottom, we're going to have an exponential decay sort of trend. So if we look at a, it's a downward trend, which is sort of what we're looking for, but a has a linear downward trend. If we look at b, b is sort of exponential, there's a curve to it, and it's decreasing, so it could be b. C is exponential, but it's increasing, so it can't be C. And then D has no association to it, so it can't be D either. So the only answer choice that makes sense is answer choice B. Here it says Jim has identical drinking glasses, each in the shape of a right circular cylinder with internal diameter of 3 inches. He pours milk from a gallon jug into each glass until it is full. If the height of the glass in each if the height of the milk in each glass is about 6 inches, what is the largest number of full milk glasses that can be poured from 1 gallon of milk? There are 231 cubic inches in a gallon. So what we have to do here is figure out what is the volume of a full glass of milk, and then we're going to divide that by the volume of the gallon, which is 231. So the way that we find the volume of the full glass of milk is we're going to plug it into the formula pi r squared times the height. It says that the glass has an internal diameter of 3. So if the diameter is 3, that means that our radius is going to be 1.5, and then we're going to square that, and our height is 6. So we're going to plug this into a calculator. 1.5 times 1.5 times pi times 6 gives us approximately 42.39. Then we're going to divide the volume of a gallon, which is 231, by the volume of a single glass, which is going to be 42.39. And this is going to tell us the number of glasses that we can fill up. So 231 divided by 42.39 is going to equal 5.4. And so therefore the answer is approximately 5. The next one says, a partially filled pool contains 600 gallons of water. A hose is turned on and water flows into the pool at a rate of 8 gallons per minute. How many gallons of water will be in the pool after 70 minutes? So we know that right in the beginning, there's a total of 600 gallons already in the pool. And then we know that water flows into the pool at a rate of 8 gallons per minute. So we know that the rate is 8 gallons per minute, and they want to know how full the pool is after 70 minutes. So we're going to multiply the 8 gallons per minute by 70 minutes. And this is going to be 600 plus 8 times 70 is 560. And this shows that we're going to have a total of 1,160 gallons. For the next question, it says, in a study of bat migration habits, 240 male bats and 160 female bats have been tagged. If 100 more female bats were tagged, how many more male bats must be tagged so that 3/5 of the total number of bats in the study are male? So we start off with 160 female bats, and then they tagged 100 more. So at this point, there's 260 female bats. In order to find 2/5, in order to have 260 to be 2/5 of the total, here they say that 3/5 is the total of male bats. So that means 260 must be 2/5. So in order for 260 to be 2/5 of the total, we're going to set up the equation 260 equals 2 over 5 times x, where x is the total number of bats, both male and female. In order to get x by itself, we have to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. So we're going to multiply by 5 over 2 on both sides. And if we plug this into our calculator, 260 divided by 2 times 5 is going to give us 650, which is the total number of bats. So if there's 650 bats in total, and we know that 260 are female, we have to subtract them to figure out how many male bats there are in total. 650 minus 260 is going to be 390. And if there was 240 male bats tagged, and there needs to be 390 male bats tagged in total in order for it to be 3/5 of the total, that means that we would have to tag an additional 150 bats. This is our answer. The question asks how many more bats must be tagged, and 150 more bats would need to be tagged. Here we have a table between cats and dogs, and the the number of each animal that is fed dry food and both wet food and dry food. The table above shows the kind of foods that are fed to the cats and dogs currently boarded at a pet care facility. What fraction of the dogs are fed only dry food? So here this question is worded very particularly because it asks what fractions of the dogs are fed dry food. So the only thing that we're focusing on are the total number of dogs. And remember, whenever we're looking for probability, ratio, proportion, fractions, we're going to divide what we're looking for divided by the total. We're looking for the number of dogs that are fed dry food only. And that's 2 dogs in total. So it's going to be 2 divided by the number of dogs, which is 25. 2 over 25 is answer choice B, and that's our answer. This next one says a certain package requires 3 centimeters of tape to be closed securely. What is the maximum number of packages of this type that can be secured with 6 meters of tape? What we need to do first is turn the 6 meters of tape into centimeters, and then we need to divide it by 3. It says that 1 meter is 100 centimeters, so if we had 6 meters, that would be equal to 600 centimeters. And since each package requires 3 centimeters of tape to close securely, we're going to divide the 600 centimeters of tape that we have altogether by 3 centimeters, the amount that it takes to secure one package. 600 divided by 3 is going to be 200, and this is how many packages we will be able to secure with 6 meters of tape, which is answer choice C. So here we have an XY coordinate plane that represents the distance and density of planetoids in the inner solar system. The x-axis represents the distance from the sun, and the y-axis represents the density. The scatter plot above shows the density of 7 planetoids in grams per cubic centimeter with respect to their average distance from the sun in astronomical units AU. In the line of best fit, the line of best fit is also shown. So just to interpret the graph, we can tell that the graph is decreasing from left to right. So as the distance from the sun increases, the density decreases. So that's what we're looking for. As distance increases, density decreases. According to the scatter plot, which of the following statements is true about the relationship between the planetoid's average distance from the sun and its density? A says planetoids that are more distant from the sun tend to have a lesser density. That is what I just said, but we'll keep on going, so maybe it's A. B says planetoids that are more distant from the sun tend to have a greater density. We know that's not true. As the distance from the sun increases, as this number gets bigger, the density gets smaller. C says the distance of a planetoid that is twice as far from the sun as another planetoid is half the density of the other planetoids. So that's not necessarily true. So here we have one around 1.5, and it has a density close to 4. So if we cut that in half to around 0.8, that does not double the density. Like, we're not at 8, because here the density is 4, but the density doesn't go to 8, it goes to around 5, 5.5. So C is not correct. D says the distance from a planetoid to the sun is unrelated to its density. Well, that's not true because we have a line of best fit, and it shows a trend that as the distance increases, the density decreases. So therefore, A is the correct answer. Here we have that Lonnie spent 15% of her 8-hour workday in meetings. How many minutes of her workday did she spend in meetings? So first we want to turn her 8-hour workday into how many minutes it was. So we know that there's 60 minutes in an hour, and she worked for 8 hours that day. If we multiply 60 times 8, this is going to be 480. And when we're trying to find 15% of 480, all we have to do is multiply this by 15% written as a decimal, which is 0.15. So 480 times 0.15 is 72. So that means that Lonnie spent a total of 72 minutes in meetings for the workday. A customer paid $53 for a jacket after a 6% sales tax was added. What was the price of the jacket before the sales tax was added? So we know that a sales tax of 6% means that we need to multiply the original amount by 1.06. So if we call the original amount X and we multiply it by 1.06, which is a 6% sales tax, this is going to equal the total amount paid, which is 53. So in order to get X by itself, we're going to divide by 1.06 on each side. And then we're going to find that X equals 53 divided by 1.06 is going to give us 50, which is answer choice B. If you learned something new in this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you need tutoring, make sure that you click the link in the description so that you can get personalized one-on-one SAT help. I'll see you in the next one.